Hey everybody, it's me, Kyle, the Leaderboard's resident Overwatch expert. And from the title of this video, you know we're going to be comparing Paladins and Overwatch. But Kyle, you might say, how is it fair to pit Paladins against a game you have over 200 hours in? Have you even played Paladins? And I will have you know, I have played Paladins for about 97 minutes. But I have been doing my research, and this is not meant to be a video where we just bash Paladins, because it's actually a pretty good game. Like, it's not better, but it's good and a lot cheaper. Let's break it down in Overwatch versus Paladins. Overwatch is Blizzard's newest IP and the company's first entry into the first-person shooter market. Two teams of 6 players choose from 24 unique heroes and face off in turns of offense and defense on a variety of maps with objectives like Assault, Payload, Hybrid, and Capture the Point that are selected at random. Characters typically fall into one of 4 roles: offense, defense, tank, and support, though these roles are more like suggestions for some of them. Paladins, Champions of the Realm is a first-person shooter made by hi-rez Studios and is set in a colorful high fantasy world. 2 teams of 5 players lock into one of almost 30 champions available in a draft-like selection process. Then they face off in one of 3 game modes: Siege, Payload, or Onslaught. Characters fall under one of 4 roles: Frontline, Damage, Support, and Flank. Champions then earn extra credits towards leveling up their character in-game by doing tasks that their roles specialize in. Obviously, you can see the similarities, but I hope you can also pick out the differences that do give these 2 games slightly different feels. So let us now dive into some more specific characteristics. Overwatch's characters are iconic, meant to be recognizable in a flash. They're colorful, diverse, and memorable. They can be seen everywhere in artwork, on convention floors, and even in Paladins. You're not fooling me, Spanish Reinhardt. When the original rosters for Paladins came out, everyone and their dog pointed out the similarities to Overwatch's cast. Since its announcement though, Paladins' roster has become more diverse and even larger than Overwatch's actually. Paladin's roster is set in a high fantasy world, which means we get to see a world where we're apparently the last of our kind unless you're a human or an elf. We have a dragon, a goblin, an anthropomorphic fox, a tree, an orc, and even a living bong. And what do you have, Overwatch? Just a gorilla. Oh, and a variety of people from various cultures that give representation unlike any that has been seen in any game before it. Oh, they're both impressive for different reasons. Overwatch and Paladins may share a genre, but they are 2 different settings. One that covers a sci-fi realistic Earth, and the other that covers a magical plane of existence, respectfully. Overwatch's characters have a humanity about them that helps players connect and build stories. Paladins' characters are fun and rather simple. There's more to see below the surface if you care to look, but I can't say I'm going to relate to Ruckus or Willow anytime soon. Maybe Pip though. Take that as you will. Sadly though, while Overwatch comes with all of its heroes ready to play, Paladins hides more than half of its characters behind an unlock screen. This is not as noticeable in Paladins though, as you lock into one hero for an entire match, while Overwatch encourages its players to swap between heroes when situations arise. Many players don't, Hanzo, but the option exists for when you're getting hard countered, or you see an opportunity to better play the current situation, etc. Paladins, like many MOBAs, has you stick it out with a character as you level them up in the game. So if you get countered hard or find that you're being ineffective, well, there's always next match. To be fair though, Paladins is a free-to-play game that promises all heroes to anyone willing to put down $20 in before anyone screams microtransactions. Overwatch gives you all of their heroes for now and forever for free after you pay $60 to buy the game. So while Overwatch has spoiled me, I will admit, and the unlock process is more reminiscent of the MOBA genre, this is hero shooters hi-rez. Let's let players play, alright? Another point we'll give to Paladins goes to their playlist for separate game modes. While Overwatch breaks into casual, competitive, and arcade, Paladins allows its players to look for specific rule sets just like other shooter games. In case you don't want to play Ilios for the umpteenth time today, once into a game, Overwatch will be sure to tell you what your team is trying to accomplish, where to go, and what your team composition might be lacking. Teams start in their spawns with time to repair their defense, or see how messy they can make a room in 60 seconds. Paladins has, to put it lightly, less exciting spawn rooms, with less less arcade machines to destroy, but they do have one cool thing that Overwatch lacks. Horses! Technically, it's mounts, but for now, that just means horses. In some game types, this is just a speed boost in the form of a mount that will get you back into the action faster after you die. In other modes, you can toggle your mount whenever you have a few free seconds. As soon as you activate an ability or fire your gun, the mount disappears. But it's refreshing to get back into the action much faster than you would at a walking speed. Both games have you fight for victory, experience, and most importantly, sweet randomly generated loot. Remember when I told you not to cry microtransactions? Well, now you can cry out, because both Blizzard and hi-rez decided to play to your collecting instinct. But while Overwatch's chests are only cosmetic, Paladins trends into dangerous RNG territory. Paladins has one very distinct mechanic over Overwatch, and that is its card system. Each champion has a set of cards that improve skills, health, reduce cooldowns, and more that you can set up before each match in a loadout of 5 cards. Cards have rarity levels like in any card system, and each card has 4 ranks. Loadouts have a rank limit, so players can't simply have 5 rank 4 cards. But this system has its obvious grievances. It favors those who buy chests, and those lucky enough to get good cards for players that they have unlocked or are even good at. Plus, let's hope an opponent, or worse, one of your teammates, doesn't pick your hero that you super decked out first. Back to chests though, Paladins tries to milk more from you by teasing an extra card that you could earn by buying a temporary boost, which is just plain underhanded if you ask me. When I first saw that, I nearly uninstalled right there simply out of spite. Can you imagine if you opened a pack of Pokemon trading cards and the last card in the pack was half of a Charizard card, saying that you could pay shipping to have the top half sent in the mail? In truth, both Overwatch and Paladins use loot boxes to keep afloat, and therefore need to convince you that you'd rather open more boxes and get more things than hold on to your cash. But at least if you don't do it in Overwatch, you're just missing out on making Tracer look like she came from a track and field event. Paladins has its own share of cosmetics, but they're small accessories, weapon skins, and the occasional skin recoloring. Keep in mind that Paladins is still in beta, and more big items like the legendary skins and emotes may come along, though I have to admit I was rather disappointed in the cosmetics that I saw, as they could easily get lost in matches. Now, I want to talk about graphics, but before I do that, I want to stress once again that Paladins is a free game. That being said, Overwatch is gorgeous to me. The maps are colorful while being semi-realistic. Maps are filled with tiny items like lanterns that sway in the wind, railings that break away, and squeaky turnips that fill you with joy as you walk over them. Maps are set in different times of day, in different countries around the world, and even off-world now. On higher settings, you can see that characters' outfits are made of various materials. While it's not photorealistic like many games aim for, Overwatch is stylized in an almost Pixar-like style. Paladins is also heavily stylized, but in such a way that some characters look simply rubbery. Maps are filled with colorful decorations that stay stationary even after time bombs and hyper beams go off. This is to help Paladins be more accessible on all levels of PC. Paladins lives in a cartoon style that it gets away with at its price point, but if this game was a AAA title, these graphics would feel very lacking, and it reminds me a lot of Xbox 360 grade graphics. Overwatch has bragged about having a huge fan base, boasting 30 million players earlier this year, and it shows. It's not hard to find something Overwatch related online and in real life, but fans are the result of a growing game that's been cultivated by its developers. Interaction with your fan base builds trust and shows that you are willing to listen to criticism. So how does Paladins sit on this scope? Actually, believe it or not, rather well. Paladins is an active subreddit with tens of thousands of subscribers at time of posting, full of discussions on balance and strategy. There's art being shared and memes being told again and again. But this is just the community side. Anyone playing For Honor knows you can have plenty of Reddit subscribers and still get scraps from the publishers. Well, if you head over to the official Paladins Twitter, you will see about the same as you'd see on the Overwatch Twitter account. Fan art is being retweeted from artists with proper tags, mind you, and teasers leading up to announcements. Both games are relatively active on social media and occasionally respond to us peons vying for their attention. From a technical standpoint, both games received regular updates. Patch notes come out for Overwatch about once every 2 weeks, give or take a little when big releases are on the horizon. Paladins patches have been rather consistent this year, releasing sometimes a week at a time. This seems a tad excessive even for a game in beta, but hopefully this storm of rough patches is leading their ship out to calmer waters. Like in any match, support often goes unnoticed and underappreciated. It may not not seem like a big deal, but as a gamer who has played franchises that were left out to dry after their release, it's refreshing to know that a publisher has faith in their own product. So, in the end, how does Paladins stack up against Overwatch? Well, in my mind, Overwatch is the superior game, and playing Paladins only made me want to go play Overwatch more, but for a free-to-play game still in beta with new content coming out on a regular basis, Paladins is by no means something to sneeze at. Heck, if this was Paladins versus Battleborn, we have a pretty close call in my mind. In the end, you get what you pay for with either game. So, what do you think? Which game do you prefer and why? Think you'll check out both games? Tell us below in the comments. I've been your Overwatch faithful host, Kyle Stover with The Leaderboard, and if you want to follow me on Twitter and tell me why you like Paladins over Overwatch, feel free to tweet me at AlphaLance. I mean, it's only fair if you've watched this far, and go for it, it's your right. If you want to check out more video game content from me and our other hosts, check out The Leaderboard, where we have more videos dropping every week about your favorite video game series. Hit that bell icon to become a part of the notification squad and subscribe to The Leaderboard, where we help you game smarter.